Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Joypad Podcast. Joypad Podcast, I don't know, it feels more important when I say the before it, doesn't it? Yeah. The Joypad Podcast. With all four hosts, I am Mr. Michael Pinto. With me today are Megan, Mr. Michael Fleming, and Tom. And we're going to talk about video games and what we're drinking and all that good stuff. I'm not going to talk about what I've been playing yet, but I will talk about what I'm drinking because I want to open the can so I can actually drink it. Oh yeah.
Rip it and rip it, baby.
Rip it and rip it. It is currently 8:18, and I'm about to crank down a Monster Energy Nitro because I don't have to work tomorrow. So
hey.
And I'm
I was
really
going to say
tired.
bad choice, but that's an okay choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very, very tired. So I'm going to pass it off to Mr. Michael Fleming.
Yo.
What are you, well, I know what you're drinking. Share with the class what you're drinking, what you've been playing, any relevant thoughts that you want to get out into the world, not including your story. Thank you.
Okay. No story for the. I'll share it after for you guys if you'd like.
Stories about who?
Yeah, hey,
Love
if you subscribe to our Patreon, which doesn't exist yet, you can hear Fleming's poop story. All right.
God. Listen,
It would also be.
exclusive content. I have got an entire website full.
It'd also be ASMR version. So I needed to take a poop, and I was walking over.
We're
to
not
the
talking. Okay.
Sorry. Anyway, I am drinking a cherry Coke for the last viewer that stayed after that ASMR moment.
I left.
Thank you. I am drinking that because I am exhausted. We were talking before the podcast. I think we're all feeling it. Work has really picked up for me. I worked like 13 hours yesterday when all was said and done, including being on until about 12:30 at night. So yes. It's been a hectic time, hectic life. I am hoping to potentially take like a couple days off here in the next little bit. I just need it. Like even just a day would be good for me. Like this weekend, I probably have to do stuff too. Not to make myself sound important or anything. Anyway, for
busy.
games, yeah, just busy. For games, I have been playing basically nothing. So I finished Uncharted. I believe I mentioned that last week for the hardest difficulty, or I was just about to finish it. I did ultimately beat it. A lot of the final like hard parts were actually a lot easier for me just because I like knew what to do because it was so recent that like I played it through a second time like right away. So it was a lot easier like when the camera angle changes and you're being chased by cars, or when you're on a car and you have to chase somebody else. Like it made a lot more sense what was going to happen. So it was a lot easier. Beat the game again. Was happy with that. And outside of that, I think I've played maybe 5 games of Age of Empires, maybe a couple more last weekend because I was a little less busy, but I played a couple games of that too. Really been feeling RTS games in recent history. So when you guys are available and we're all not so dang busy, War Selection needs to be on the radar because I want to play that again too. That's basically it. I have nothing interesting beyond that. So Tom, you're always an interesting boy. What have you been playing? What are you drinking? How you doing? What's life like?
Life is also busy. I had my 13-hour day last week and hated it. And then this week I've had nothing but days that are just packed with meetings and urgent requests and still running late. Not quite 13 hours late, but more like 10, 11 hours. I'm also not important, just very busy. And I think it's important to say that busyness isn't a measure of super coolness. So I'm trying to do anything I can to scale that back. Likewise, I've probably played less games due to that. But I still have been playing a little bit of Midnight Suns when I can. I just got to the point where I unlocked the 3rd location that missions are in. And that seems to be the final location. The Deadpool DLC comes out tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. But I have all of the characters. I don't think it's spoilery at all for me to say that Wolverine and Scarlet Witch are on the roster, and they're fun. And I'm actually a big Scarlet Witch fan, going back to like the TV show and the comics. So it's exciting to have her on the team and get to use her. And I'm a fan because her powers are just super freaking cool. Like she's like master of reality magic, which is super neat. And just very powerful, just the way that like Phoenix Jean Grey was. I actually thought that she was going to be in it too, because one of the outfits for Magic, who is one of the other characters, is called Phoenix 5. So it's like, oh, Phoenix. It could be Phoenix. That'd be great. But no, I don't think Phoenix is in it. You'd think you would say she'd be too overpowered, but Captain Marvel is like one of the first heroes you get, and Captain Marvel's like one of the most powerful Marvel superheroes. So, and very fun to use. Like, everybody's super fun. So, having a good time with it still. I'm still surprised at how rich the story is from point to point, because it could easily just be kind of the way that XCOM is between just generic missions where you just kind of hang out at not even hang out at the base. You're just looking at like a base screen and just moving things around and like building up your team and deciding on power-ups. And not only do you do that bit, but there's always something new to talk to at least one or two characters about. And it's not like NPC dialogue where they're like, oh, have you seen Blade? He sure looks hungry for blood, or like anything like that. It's a full-blown character exploration dialogue, which is awesome. Like, good job. Please keep going, make more. I hope they make like 50 DLCs. I'll play them all. Like, it'll be a great excuse to play the game again. And I have the season pass, so I will be playing them whenever they come out. I have had the itch to play Madden, and I haven't done it.
Ooh,
but I've been watching. I'm trying. It almost slipped this weekend. But watching playoff football has kind of gotten me in that position. And then I'm also reading a bunch of like mock drafts and stuff for the Bears, who have the first overall pick right now in the draft. So for video viewers, here's my cat. He decided to stand up and get pets.
Oh.
And my only other update is I bought the new Fire Emblem game. Just arrived in the mail. I bought a physical copy because I wanted to wait anyway because I'm playing Midnight Suns. But I've heard really good things about Fire Emblem Engage. So I am happy to have a new game lined up as soon as I finish Midnight Suns, by which I mean get ready to play it again.
But it's named after the Nokia video game system.
There's a Nokia?
The Nokia N-Gage?
The N-Gage.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Can you play Snake on it?
Can only hope.
I don't remember what you can play on it. I bet you could play Doom on it.
Oh, it was very short-lived.
Yeah.
Play Doom on anything.
I think you play Tomb Raider on it as well.
It's kind of like the NVIDIA, whatever the hell that thing was. Oh, crap, I can't even think of it. There was a big stink because they're discontinuing it. And there was a guy who was on Red Dead Redemption that had like 40,000 hours played or something like that. There's like an NVIDIA console. It was partnered with Google. I want to say Shield,
Stadia?
but I don't know if it was Stadia. That was it.
Stadia?
Yeah. That's Google. That's not NVIDIA. NVIDIA has a console called Shield, which is also obscure and no one uses.
Oh, okay.
Steam Deck would be the next thing up, but a lot of people are doing emulators on that. I have two friends who have one, and they're doing really cool emulator stuff on it. So we can talk more about that stuff. I'm on the ramble side because this is what I do. I believe I'm supposed to throw it to Megan.
Whoa.
How you doing? What you drinking? I have LaCroix. I didn't mention that. What games are you playing?
What flavor is it? Is it
orange? I have tangerine out there too.
Pamplemousse. Oh shit!
Look at
that. Tangerine is amazing, but like I can't get it at my local store. I have to get it from Whole Foods, like a bougie bitch. So I don't know. I have to like come up with a decent order to justify it for myself.
I like the polar mandarin orange. That's pretty good. But like you can't get a case. I can't find a case of it at least. I can only find like the bottles.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's such a kick. Like
yep.
Give me a case. Quit jerking me around. It's like if you want to ever buy like
take my money.
If you ever want to buy like any specialty like energy drink, like Bang Energy at like the grocery store, most of the time it's like, well, maybe you can get a case of Blue Raz, but if you want anything else, it's singles
Heck
or go to hell.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's like everyone else, it's been a busy week at work. Everything is on fire. I'm tired. I've been a week ahead all week. So it's very disappointing that I still have one more work day tomorrow. But I have a job. As for my beverage of choice, I'm enjoying my leaf water as always. Maybe one day I'll mix it up, but I highly doubt it. As far as what I'm playing, still continuing through as I smash my microphone. Sorry about that. Still playing through Persona 5. I was playing Animal Crossing actually just before we started here. Since I bought the new Switch, I lost my island that I had on the light, and I am very sad. I'm sure it was my own fault that I lost it, but it like reinvigorated my want to play the game because I really haven't touched it since, I don't know, probably 3 months after it came out.
Because you build an empire and then you sit on your throne and you have nothing left to do.
Exactly.
That's how that game works.
Yep.
I've watched my wife build like 17 different, I don't know what you call it, towns, worlds, villages. And every time she gets to the top, she's like, I'm just going to burn this to the ground and start again.
That sounds accurate. So yeah, I started St. Olaf anew. I forgot how slow it is in the beginning. It's a drag, and I wish there was a way to skip past all of the talk with like everybody in town. Like if I drop off something to Blathers, every single time it's like, hey, do you want to hear about this? No. Hey, we donated a new thing. Yeah. It's like Charlie Brown. I don't want to hear about it. No, thank you. Why do I have to donate everything individually? Let me just do one giant mass donation. I can sell stuff in the store like that, but I can't donate things that way. But yeah, it's great. I'm having fun.
Megan, it's the Pokemon principle. It's because it's a game for children.
You're right. I am just a giant child with an adult's income.
Oh, same.
But yeah, Persona and Animal Crossing really has been it. I did pre-order Dead Space, which comes out tomorrow to date us. I'm excited to play it. I didn't play the first one. I watched Pinto play, I think the first one, or maybe the second one. I don't remember. You tried to introduce me to it. So I'm looking forward to it. Everything that's come out so far, the reviews look good. So I want to be scared. That's all I want.
I know what's going to be on my TV, too.
But that's it for me. Mr. Pinto, how are you? We already know what you're drinking, right? Because you did the grip it and rip it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so what are you playing? How are you doing? And do we have a topic?
Nope.
Cool.
I'm continuing along the trend of it's been a very busy week. I worked some overtime Monday and Tuesday, hanging out late at work, and just being an adult. It's nice. Like, I'm not complaining because as someone who worked in food service for the past 3 years, having an office job is pretty great. It's pretty great.
What's it like going into an office?
Dry. Very dry and sterile. I need to buy chapstick. You probably can't see it. I've got a split lip right now because my lips are so chapped.
Oh no.
Ooh.
But beyond that, I mean, it's really not bad. There's a lot of paper and a lot of cardboard. Yep.
Does it smell like fresh paper and cardboard?
No, it doesn't.
Aw.
Oh, and like not to get like too inside baseball, but there is a guy there. I don't know who he is. I've only worked there for like a couple months. He's got like I don't know. He sounds like worse than Tom with the coughs. And every day I just want to be like, go home, go home, go home. He's just like every morning just blasting off, and I'm like, bro,
Can't be helped.
You shouldn't be here.
Poor guy.
The irony is, as you described that story, I turned my video off and put my mic on mute and blew my
And
nose.
had a coughing fit. Oh, blew your nose.
No, no coughing fit. Not yet.
All right.
Thank goodness.
So to get away from that, to talk about video games, I too have ordered Dead Space because Megan convinced me. And by convinced me, I mean she said, I pre-ordered Dead Space. And I was like, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
In terms,
It's a lot of convincing.
I
Hard
know.
sell.
You did a great job, Megan. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You can have 10% of... I don't know what I'm saying.
The Dead Space.
Yeah.
Damn it.
What have I been playing? I've actually been playing a lot of different games this week. Nothing that I really settled on. Just kind of trying to find what I want my next,
I saw something that
thing.
you were playing.
The Forest?
Nope. I forgot about the forest.
Yeah, we played a little bit of The Forest last night. With
The Florist?
The Florist.
The florist.
Yeah, we played some of The Florist
my
last
favorite.
night.
I love
personally,
designing flower arrangements.
yeah, personally, lilies are my
Bring
favorite.
this to Timmy.
I have been playing some Crash Bandicoot, the remastered trilogy. God, man, that game's hard.
Yeah.
I feel like I was really good at it, and I'm trying to play it now, and I'm like, was it always this difficult? I feel like I have a problem with the like my depth perception when I play it, where I'm misjudging like 50% of the jumps that I feel like I should be making. I don't know. It's difficult, and also I'm trying to be, the completionist when I play it, trying to get all the boxes and all that nonsense, and it's difficult. I've also been playing some Stardew Valley, of course, and
There it is.
have picked back up Pokemon Sword. Actually,
That's the one.
that's the one. That's the one you saw me
Yep.
playing. Yeah, been playing Pokemon Sword. I just beat Opal, so I have 5 badges.
Ooh.
I don't know. I still have very mixed feelings on Pokemon. I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I'm like, God, it's just type advantage the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just bodied that entire gym with one steel type Pokemon who wasn't
Yeah.
even super over leveled, like just right around the same level. I went in there with one Clank and just destroyed every single Pokemon in that gym. So
The Elite Four is the only spot where it starts to get moderately difficult because it's a game for children.
yeah, I
Yep.
know it is. But the weird part is, I bet way more adults play it than children.
I don't know. I think a lot of children are out there playing Pokemon. There are a lot of adults out there playing Pokemon, but there are many children.
As a man with a 7 and 9-year-old niece and nephew, that a lot of kids play Pokemon. So I'm sure that it is designed for children still.
Pokemon is a franchise that just found the hook.
Yeah.
And the kids just open that mouth right up and jam it in there and make sure it's in there good and tight. And then they grow up into adults like us that are still playing fucking Pokemon.
Yep. Like 20-ish years later. Yeah. I think that's really all I've been playing. I am looking forward to some Dead Space, and like I said, I have the day off tomorrow, so maybe that's what I'll spend a lot of my day doing, is playing that Dead Space goodness.
There you go.
Getting dead in Dead Space.
Yeah, I really hope that it's just stays true to the original. I don't mind if they do some things different, but I don't want it in, I don't know. I'm gonna have, I bet I will have strong opinions about it one way or another. I'll put it that way.
Do you have the GGS? Grumpy gamer syndrome?
I try really hard not to have that, but I might have that. Yes, we'll see. It looks great, and if it plays like the original, it will be great. I did mention to Megan, and I don't know how other people feel about this. I don't think anyone else has played the series on this podcast. I meant not out there in the world, of course.
Ever.
And no one has ever played it.
I watched my wife play a little bit of Dead Space 3, which I understand is the bad one.
Yes, I was about to say something not nice. Is Redheaded Stepchild still, like, not cool to say? Have we reclaimed that?
I mean, I don't think redheaded
this...
discrimination is high on the tier of discriminations that we can't pursue.
Okay. Well, it's definitely the least favorite of the trilogy. And I think Dead Space 2, personally, was like the Zenith is the good one, right? And Nadir is the bad one. Apex, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Dead Space 2 was the best Dead Space, and here's why. It was it was definitely the scariest one. Like the first one is scary, but it falls more into that trap of Resident Evil 4 where it's much more of an action adventure game with a little bit of horror, whereas I feel like Dead Space 2 really nailed the mix of horror and action adventure much more. But Dead Space 1 is still great.
Action adventure with a little bit of horror is my kind of jam.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel like the Fear series was as well. Fear 1 was basically just like a first-person shooter with a spooky girl in it. But then Fear 2 was like, that's the scary one. And then just like the Dead Space trilogy, Fear 3 was garbage.
I always wonder with like scary games, like, it's a matter of how long can your premise stay spooky.
True.
Like, and if you've already done it for 2 games, you get to that 3rd game, does it immediately turn into Jason H2O?
Well,
have you all immediately shot Jason into space?
Yeah, they did do a Jason in space, huh?
Halloween H2O, not Jason H2O. Sorry,
but Jason X was Jason in space. Halloween H2O was Halloween 20 years later.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
But
Jason X.
Yeah, the thing
bad.
that
God damn it.
that they did.
Still went to goddamn space.
Both Dead Space 3 and Fear, they were like, we're going to turn it co-op. And I think that's where their mistakes were for both of them. Having not played both of them, I can't say for certain.
You know, I think there was a time in gaming where every game wanted to be co-op. And I think we're seeing the other side of that now. Like, not every game is online Call of Duty Shoot-A-Man.
No friends ever.
I mean, listen. I like the online gaming with the friends.
Yes.
However, as we have seen almost every week, we can very rarely get together at the same time to play a game. It's nice when we can, but I also like to have my Tom introvert moment where I can just play a game on my own when I feel like it. So, I don't know. There were a number of games where there was like co-op required or internet required, all that kind of stuff, and I feel like we've hit the other side of that. It's no longer the magic bullet.
Yeah, there's still space in my heart for a good co-op game.
Of course.
But I've always been more of the solo gamer anyways. Just in general, you know, the type of games that I tend to play lean more towards solo gaming anyways, RPGs. Man, did anyone have maybe it was Final Fantasy Anthology on the PlayStation 1? That was 5 and 6.
No.
They had this weird thing where it was quote-unquote multiplayer, but all that it meant was when you went into battles, someone else could control, like, 2 of the characters.
Yeah, I remember that. I never used it.
Yeah.
I never tried to play a game like that with somebody else.
Like, first of all, boring for the other player. And second, if you... look, I like Let's Plays, obviously. I do Let's Plays. I watch tons of Let's Plays. I'd feel weird just like sitting there playing Final Fantasy with someone else on the couch, especially the old ones that are just text-based with no voice acting. So you're like, you finished reading yet? Cool, and let me hit the button. You finished reading it? Alright, I'm gonna hit the button. You finished reading it? Alright, cool, I'm gonna hit the button. It doesn't sound exciting.
I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds riveting to me.
Well, then, I have got the thing for you. I do these things called screenshot Let's Plays, my dude.
Woo! Shout out. I don't know, but back in the day, I do remember playing like Final Fantasy 13, like at your house.
But that's different,
Just
though, because it's got the voice acting, which we made fun of endlessly.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's a different... It's just different, I think.
It is different. I mean, back in the day, I do remember playing like Final Fantasy 7 with friends on like sleepovers, and just like playing through it. And I don't know if we like handed the controller around or if we were just all enraptured by story or what. We were children.
Yeah.
So it was a different situation.
Hotseat Final Fantasy. I play 5 battles, you play 5 battles.
It must have been like that, though, because there were a number of times I would get together with friends and we would like just be playing like an RPG at like a friend's house. And I'm like, how'd we have fun with this? I guess we were just cheering each other on. I don't know. Or like one person would be like manning the walkthrough or something like that. Because that's RPG fare. You got to have a walkthrough. You got to be making sure you're making optimal choices. I was actually just looking at some article about Mass Effect. In Mass Effect 2, there's like a flowchart for like the final mission. And it made me kind of want to play Mass Effect again, but it also reminded me of the walkthrough days. Because you don't know what you don't know in that. You're just taking swings, unless you're actually looking at the guide.
I feel like a game like Mass Effect, though, games like that, or like Knights of the Old Republic, just those sorts of like huge RPGs where there's so many different choices, a walkthrough would be like really tough to make, or it'd have to be a very specific walkthrough. Like, here's your walkthrough for a male light side Darth Revan, or like, you know,
you're not supposed to know he's Darth Revan. Game that came out 15 years ago or whatever.
20 years ago.
20. Oh God. What was I gonna say? So for this case, it kind of matters. It's just for one mission because it's the final mission, and it's like if you assign certain people to different things, the outcomes are basically either lives or dies. So it's like there's just optimal candidates for things.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, I guess there is a walkthrough out there for Knights of the Old Republic, though, which seems weird. Or at the very least, there's guides that are like, if you want to try and do this thing, here's how you do it. Like, if you want to be dark side and recruit this person, you have to do it this way, kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like it becomes more of like, we go back to the days of just someone just almost like Reddit. Like, you just ask a question. You don't need a full walkthrough. You just want someone to answer your one specific question. You know?
Oh, yeah. I like that. Oh my God, are chatbot AIs the way of the future for game walkthroughs?
Oh.
I hope so.
Ooh.
Dude, I'm gonna download Replica and be like, how do I beat Mass Effect? And they'll be like, if you pay $70, you can see sexy photos. And I'll be like, this is weird. Don't do that.
Yeah. So I see I'm not the only person who's gotten Facebook ad spam from them. I don't need this virtual chatbot AI, but you can get not safe for work photos from them. Yeah, I can also get that from Google image search. What's your point?
So, I found a Prima official strategy guide for Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh God!
Just under 200 pages.
God, yeah, like,
yeah.
It'd have to be almost like 4 separate walkthroughs. It'd be like a choose your own adventure strategy guide. Did you choose this option? Turn to page 64.
There are paper strategy guides for Elder Scrolls games too.
Oh my god.
And
Really?
now that I think about it, I remember holding the one for, I think, Oblivion in my friend Tim's basement, and it's like a dictionary in its thickness. Like, I don't know how you make a profit off publishing something like that.
It's got to cost like
looking it up right
as much
now.
as the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Close. I mean, maybe $30 instead of 60. I don't know.
So this one, it's Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and it's the expanded version. 400 pages.
Yep. There we go. I don't know if did they make a Skyrim one?
They do. It is.
Oh God.
656.
I was gonna say 600
it's
pages.
3.5 pounds.
Oh,
Oh.
man. I remember though, like this. I have a lot of strategy guides where like they're not very well written, or like they just blatantly tell you wrong things or bad things.
Yep.
Like the Breath of Fire 3 strategy guide is like, if you work really hard in this fight, you could beat Baleo and Sunder. You can't. It's impossible. Like, people have game sharked it, and they're like, they don't have HP values. They're just sprites. You have to lose that battle. Or the Brood War strategy guide, where it's like, it tells you just, like, the hardest of hard counters, and you're like, okay. They're like, if you find yourself fighting lots of Zerglings, make fire bats. And it's like, cool, what if they make anything else? Then I'm fucked and I die.
They weren't thinking that far ahead.
What's the counter to the Zerglings? Fire bats, duh.
What if they make any flying unit? I don't know. You make fly unit. Why not? Wraith?
I think that, yeah, because I think the point of the strategy guide was to get you through the solo missions, not multiplayer. Could you imagine just going onto BattleNet and being like, alright, this guy's Zergling rushing me, I'm just gonna make fire bats. And then just, the crushing defeat in my heart.
And then you
my
just
soul.
start rage typing, and you're like, but the Prima official strategy
The guy told me!
Why? Why would they lie to me? I paid them $20 for their book of secrets.
Actually, it just came in the battle chest. Like, it came with the game when I bought
I
it.
paid them $0 additional dollars for their book of secrets.
That makes a lot more sense.
Now that I say it out loud, yeah. The fact that the strategy guide came with the game.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
That means it was also written around the time the game comes out, and that's also like a highly evolving game, those sorts of things. So
True.
you're trusting the old wisdom, and shit has evolved.
Let me tell you of the old ways.
When a good old fire bat would save the day.
I mean, I still do, like, the fact that there are strategy guides for games like Oblivion and Skyrim is cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, holy shit.
Well, and like I've seen some of those guides, and it's like, I don't know, like I feel like it kind of destroys the goal of those games.
To explore?
Yeah, it's very easy
Yeah.
to just explore. And there's not like a ton of risk in doing it. Like, you might find somewhere that's a little too tough for you, and then you come back later.
Like getting knocked halfway into space by the first troll you encounter
Yes.
that just like one-shots you. You're like, I can take out a
Hey.
troll.
Who's that? He's tall. Oh, I just got rocketed into outer space.
It's funny because, I mean, Fallout does the same thing with like Deathclaws, right? You run into one,
Yeah.
they wreck your day, and then you try to avoid those moving forward until you get strong enough to take them on.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how Fallout and Elder Scrolls can do that so effectively, and Final Fantasy games suck at it.
What do you mean?
like Final Fantasy 12, you can just run into like a level 30 creature like out in the desert immediately and get your face rolled like easily.
Yeah.
And they're hard to avoid. They're hard to see that they're that tough.
Yeah, 12 wasn't the best. Certainly was not
12
the best
sucks. Fight me. I'm talking to the audience, not you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. So
Yeah.
that's the
But, I mean,
only
there's-
one I've never gone back and replayed.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say Final Fantasy 14's not great about that either. Once you like figure the game out, it's better at it, but I don't know. It's an MMO, so it's not always great at everything either. But I don't know. I never played Final Fantasy 11. Can I just put that out there?
No, I
That's
never
okay.
did either.
Is it still online?
I believe it is, yeah.
I mean, I have no interest in playing it. I'm just curious. Because I've got my MMO brain on now that we've talked about Elder Scrolls and Star Wars and Final Fantasy 14. But
A quick
that's,
search
like,
makes me
the
think
only
it's
one.
online.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. Now, was it 11 or 14 that was so bad when it came out, they just, like, wiped everything and restarted it? Was that 14?
14.
Okay.
14, and that's a canon part of the game.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Which is hilarious. They're like, oh, everything got nuked that one time. You remember that? Okay. What's a little bit sad to me is there is, like, a decent to good story in 14, but you have to suffer through an inane amount of bullshit to get to it, because it doesn't really get good until the end of like the main game. Then the first expansion is very good. The second expansion is okay, and then I haven't played any of the others
See,
because I can't for the life of me figure out how to play again after.
that's an interesting thing to me about, like, any media, but especially video games, where people are like, you gotta get past the first, like, 3 or 4 hours, and then it gets really good. It's like Knights of the Old Republic. You gotta get through the Endar Spire and Taurus before the game gets good. But that
Yeah.
takes, like, 5 hours of gameplay.
I don't
Yeah.
have that time.
Or if
No.
even, like, I remember someone talking about The Last of Us, and they were like, man, I don't remember. I was a guy, and then I was a little girl, and then I don't know. I was running a whole bunch, and I was a guy, and there was a car crash, and I just didn't have time for it, so I turned it off. It's like, how long did you play for? 20 minutes? But even, like, it's not wrong in the sense that, like, if he's looking for gameplay, yeah, you're just running around for, like, the first hour of that game before anything really happens. But if you're invested in the story, of course you're going to want to play it.
Yeah, the storytelling starts from the jump with that one,
Right.
and it's good storytelling. The storytelling in something like Final Fantasy 14 is lacking.
And the
with
gameplay is
older-
also lacking?
You get to a certain point, and the gameplay's fun. And there's different styles, so I mean, you have to be into MMOs. My biggest problem is I came back in and there's like 50 different buttons I have to assign to things. I don't remember what they are, and I need to have my mouse that has another 20 buttons on it in order to get the thing going.
Yeah,
and
you need
I
your
unplugged
MMO
that
mouse.
shit. Yeah. So I was like, it's not really worth the effort. But you know, it used to be worth the effort for me. I used to love those games.
But, like, even...
But
I was
from
going to
the-
say, even, like, TV shows. When people
Yeah.
are like, season 1's not that great. It's like The Office or, like, BoJack Horseman. It's like, season 1's okay. Once you get to season 2, and it's like, yeah, but season 1 is, like, I gotta devote
That should
my
be your
time to
hook.
watch 12 episodes?
it's got to be your hook.
Yeah.
Hook them in. I mean, I think a lot of times you come to appreciate the beginnings of things. I mean, it's even the same thing with like Star Trek: The Next Generation. Anyone will tell you the first season sucks ass, and it does. It sucks ass, but season 2 and on are really good, and there's little gems in season 1, but you can also just start later with some of those. Like The Office, generally speaking, you can just start later.
Yeah. But you
and
can't
you're
really
okay.
do that with games. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a book, right? Like, you're not going to jump ahead like 3 chapters for the most part or whatever. You really need to have, as a creator, as a writer, game maker, you have to have that hook. Make it not suck right from the beginning.
Yeah, it's like John Popper said, the hook brings you back.
Yep. I mean,
Everyone like that
he was...
sick Blues Travelers reference?
Oh, I was going to say, we know he's related to noted philosopher Karl Popper, so, you know, that's where the truth comes from.
I'm trying to think about, like, other games. Dude, Kingdom Hearts doesn't start that good, man. It really doesn't.
Kingdom Hearts was based on novelty. That's the thing that, like, I always have to remind myself. That entire game, the premise was just getting to fuck around on Disney planets with Disney characters. And then they turned it into a monstrosity.
Yeah. Dude, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I bought it.
What the hell?
And they teased the 4th game.
Yeah, it's definitely coming out.
In like 30 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have to release 10 more interstitial games between 3 and 4 before 4 can come out.
They need more lore.
I think
they made a huge error trying to overstory that game.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it be a fun Disney Final Fantasy.
Here's how it goes. There was Kingdom Hearts 1, right? And then there was Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, which came out on the Game Boy Advance. Kingdom Hearts 1 came out on PlayStation 2. Chain of Memories came out on the Game Boy Advance, but they made it so that Sora got amnesia at the end of the game. So you didn't have to play Chain of Memories to play Kingdom Hearts 2. There were things that you would notice if you had played it, but then Kingdom Hearts 2 came out on the PlayStation 2, and then they just went buck wild, and they're like, here's 18 games, all on different systems, all taking place at different times, and they're all canon.
And there's a mobile game too, which is mostly just backstory and stuff about the world, I think, that like they recommend you go through.
I just want to say I'm really looking forward to Dave's comments on this, just because I know Dave has very strong opinions about the Kingdom Hearts series. Hello, Dave.
So this is actually pretty on topic for what we've talked about before. You know that you're working with Disney characters. Your game is clearly targeted towards children. Why are you coming up with these ridiculously convoluted concepts like Heartless and Nobodies and I don't even know what the other ones are. There's like that circle of guys in cloaks that are
Organization
like 13,
Tom. Come on.
Hey,
Get
I just
with
said
it, man.
right when you did, so I was pretty damn close.
Even though there's 14 members in Organization 13.
And then there's like the main bad guy is a replacement of a good guy who was like Mickey's bro or something.
God, I wish I didn't know what you're talking about, but I'm like, as you're saying it, I'm like naming the characters. I'm like, yeah, Xemnas and Ansem the Wise, who is different from the regular Ansem. There's also young Ansem.
Yeah, why would you do that? It's a game for children. Like, that's like, you have to know your
kids
audience.
gotta grow up, man.
Their minds are fresh.
Yeah,
and not full of things yet.
I am grown up and I don't fucking get it. Like, that's you can't hammer them with this shit. I mean, that's I remember playing Kingdom Hearts 2 probably when I was 15 or 16, and I had a little bit of mindless fun for a while, and then I remember there being a redheaded man in a cloak, and I got to some part that was like a little too hard, and the story didn't make any fucking sense. And I went, oh, okay, fuck this, I'm done.
Same.
Like, sweet. Like, I feel validated by that, because I just don't know how you fuck up that much.
Yeah, I didn't get far, and I've tried to have Christy explain it to me because she's played a majority of the games, and I I do not get it. I don't know that Christy Foley gets it, and that's not her fault.
No, I have literally watched a YouTube video that was called like Kingdom Hearts Explained.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
as
yeah.
it droned on, I was like, this is dumb. And I mean, but what I'm saying, if I take it back, I'm saying you have to realize first and foremost, you have Disney characters plus Final Fantasy, mainly Disney, equals game for children. What do you do in game for children? Not this.
Yeah, and now basically like it's all just like original characters now. Like the game, like it still takes place in Disney worlds, and it's like, hey, there's Woody, cool. But like he doesn't have like a real bearing on the story. It's all like their original nobodies and Heartless and Blast and I don't know.
Yeah. That's a failure to use what you have at hand, or someone seeking too much attention for their own personal designs.
Yeah, like the whole premise was back in 2006 or 5 when Kingdom Hearts 1 came out, everyone was just like Disney and Final Fantasy. Oh my god. Done. That's it. Dude, we got Kingdom Hearts 2 and My Chemical Romance as the Black Parade in the same year. Like my emo heart was just like bursting with black joy.
When I was a young boy, my father once took me to the Black Parade where I watched Goofy die.
Yeah, Goofy did die.
Kingdom
Spoilers,
Hearts.
Snape kills Goofy.
That's the name of this episode right now. Snape kills Goofy. Yeah, but like just think about that concept. Game for children. Don't fucking kill Goofy. What the shit? I give all props to games like Pokemon and Animal Crossing that know what they're doing when they know their audience and know how to A, make it fun for them, B, make it fun for adults. We still play the shit out of these fucking games, even if they get a little bit oversimple in their mechanics. I do.
I mean, it depends on the game. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was still locked on Kingdom Hearts. Like, I don't fucking play that anymore.
No, not
I tried.
No, Kingdom Hearts is the opposite. Kingdom Hearts is the failure case. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, fucking we've all played the hell out of some Pokemon, so.
Yep. Pokemon, Mario games are always fun. They are games for children, and that's fine because if you have a soul, you have an inner child. And if you don't let that inner child out, you become a giant asshole.
Morals.
Peace, I'm out.
Morals on the Joypad podcast. Play games for children. They are the most fun. 1.
If you don't, you
2,
become a heartless and
3.
a nobody and a whatever. You got it.
I just the Nintendo aesthetic is just, it's so bright and happy, and it gives you the happy brain chemicals, man.
Do you remember the first episode of this podcast? I said the thing that I crave in video games was a shift away from dark, edgy, gross, washed out things and movement back into like bright, colorful, shiny.
I do.
Like Nintendo loves the bright, colorful, shiny.
They do.
And they always have, and that's what, like you said, gives you the good brain chemicals.
I just went through the Mushroom Forest in Pokemon Sword, and I was like, this is delightful. Which is weird, because the first time I played through the game, I got to the Mushroom Forest, and I was like, fuck this game! And I put it away for like 6 months. But now that I started it over, and I'm in a better place mentally, I was like, this is really pretty. Instead of just like, I don't want to deal with this garbage!
Mario's worst game of all time. I'm gonna tell you why. Do you think?
No.
Funny question. with what happened with Square and Disney with Kingdom Hearts, that like Nintendo looked at that, and any possibility that ever happened for like Mario RPG has been contingent on a similar design. And Nintendo has just been like, this is stupid. And Square's like, well, if you don't want to have 8 million nobodies and sad Mario and Luigi goes on Epic Samurai Quest and we just can't do business.
I would love a Luigi Epic Samurai Quest.
That'd be fun.
Would you like it if it was in the Kingdom Hearts style and he was a brooding man out on his own?
I might.
And he kills Goofy and cries.
I might, just for like the schadenfreude of it all, you know?
It'd be strange. It'd be a trip.
You get Tom, you played the 1,000-Year Door, right?
No.
No?
I played 3D World.
Did anyone else play the 1,000-Year Door, Paper Mario?
I think I've played bits and pieces of it.
There's this whole thing in Paper Mario where you could talk to Luigi and like he's going on a quest parallel to yours, and he just like you could go talk to him. He's like, "Hey, bro, I went to rescue Princess Eclair in the Waffle Kingdom," and you're like, "What? I want to play that game." He gets like his own teammates and everything, and it's like, why can't I play Paper Luigi, Princess Eclair in the Waffle Kingdom, where he does all the cool stuff that he tells me about?
That would have been a great companion game. Clearly, probably when they made that game, they were like, we're going to write this in, and if Nintendo wants to give us money, we can make this game too.
True.
And then they probably just didn't give them money, which is sad.
All right, Shiggy M, we got to call him up. You're like, yo, dude.
We're on a first-name basis. I think he'll probably take the call.
That's right. Next week on the Joypad podcast, guest spot, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Shigs. It's totally not just me on a black screen.
Doing a very, very racist caricature of a Japanese accent.
I was going to say, I'm not willing to do that, so we'll call up our friend Alex, who actually speaks Japanese, and we'll have him put on his racist Japanese accent and do it. Yeah!
Yeah! Does anyone else have any thoughts that they would like to share with the class? I feel like we're getting close to the end of the episode here, but if anyone has something else to mention.
No thoughts, but news. I don't know if y'all saw it. GoldenEye 007 is out on Xbox Game Pass and Switch if you have the expansion pass. And I believe they have an online multiplayer available on the Switch version only. I need to do more research, though.
Well, we have 4 people, and I could play that game for about 5 minutes before I want to crawl into bed and die. So, I'm pretty sure I have the expansion pass.
I don't know if I have an expansion pass. I definitely have the Xbox thing.
Oh, you know what?
It's only Nintendo. Xbox only got 4K graphics or something stupid, which like it's a N64 era game. The online multiplayer I believe is a Switch only deal.
What a weird exclusive.
Right? You can play online and you get semi better graphics.
Especially like
those
Switch
4
some of the
polygons look real smooth.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of memes recently. I don't know, Reels or TikToks. I don't know what the kids are using these days. Where everyone is talking about how fire the pause music in GoldenEye 64 is.
How fire.
Oh, yeah.
If Nintendo doesn't sue, maybe I'll put a little bit in there. Tom's doing a good job of doing his rendition of it, though.
Beautiful.
So. That's transformational right there. I'm beatboxing.
You're booting and catting all over the place.
Hell yeah. My cat's over here too. So.
Are you wearing boots?
No.
Well, all right.
I was making the boots with my mouth.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it, unless any more breaking news, Megan?
Nope, I'm good.
Oh, Justin Roiland has been canceled. That's our news.
Yep, saw that.
Yep.
Haven't played High on Life.
It's okay.
Then I don't care to. If it's just okay.
Yeah, it was on Game Pass. I downloaded it a few weeks ago, and I didn't finish it. It was fine.
It was fine is like, High on Life is the worst game ever. This game sucks, I'm going to tell you why. When it comes to video games, like, this is fine. It's just like, yeah, I'm not going to play it then.
But I'm also not I'm not a big Rick and Morty fan. It's just not it's not my bag. And the game has a lot of that same humor.
Yeah, I do like Rick and Morty. Actually,
you must have a high IQ then, Tom.
Oh, of course. That's how it works, you know. While I was on like my work trip, they had marathons of Rick and Morty on, so I was just watching that because I had nothing else to do. But I think it will easily carry on without him. Like, okay, you're a very easily imitable voice. Good for you.
Contact Aaron Hansen.
Contact literally anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, Rick!
There it is. Contact Tom.
That was mediocre.
Sorry.
That was mediocre at best.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to our podcast, everyone. If you made it this far, Fleming's now going to tell his poop story.
Please don't.
So I was walking to the bathroom.
No.
And okay, I'm done. I'll save it for after.
That's for
Patreon
the Patreon
exclusives.
That's
Yes.
right. Please
subscribe for $50 or more to hear Fleming's poop story.
Okay. Man, if we got someone who wants to pay $50 on Patreon, I will make up poop stories to tell them.
I don't have to make anything up.
Yeah, I know. I lived with you. Anyways, thank you for listening to our podcast, everyone. Please check out our other content. Go to joypadpod.com to find the link tree to all of our stuff.
If joypad.com is a porn site, we don't endorse it.
Yeah, you heard the correction real fast on that one. We could have called it Joystick. That's definitely
Nope.
All right. Check out our content. Let's plays. There's YouTube stuff. I don't know. The monster's wearing off. I'm tired. Tom, do it.
If you make a children's game, make it fun and easy for children. Don't kill Goofy. Why would you do that to him? He's already a goof. Leave him alone.
Gorsh.
Stay joyful. Goodbye.
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 Bye.